All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Lamb here. Welcome to our special board meeting as we discuss our new COVID procedures. I'll call this meeting to order. The item that we have on the agenda is the revision to our COVID procedures. So I'll have Dr. Clendening go through those.
We need to bring this back up off the table. We need a motion to bring it off the table.
So we need a motion to bring this off the table. So do I have that motion from the board?
Second.
We have a motion. It's been second. Christy, you vote?
Yes.
Becky?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So that motion brings it up to the action item. Now we'll have Dr. Clendening go through the details.
Well, thank you for meeting on this Friday as we get ready to head into the weekend. As we all know, we met on Monday, and at that time I shared information about the timeline and structures that we were advised and recommended from the health department. But also on Monday, I received a phone call and was engaged in a conversation with the local health department. And in that conversation, it looked like we were going to get some opportunities to look at some other things. And so throughout the week, I was waiting for that correspondence to come. And today it finally came. And on that, it directs us back to the previous guidance on September 1st that we as a school district need to adhere to and follow both the CDC and the state IDOH recommendation, and that would be masks in school during the school day. And just a reminder that on the buses, it's a federal mandate, so that one is not really, that's even considered. The other thing is we need to move quarantine back to where it is by state, and that is contact trace up to 6 feet radius of a kid with a positive. There's a lot of frustration in this going on as I believe that schools across the state are getting put in a very tenuous spot of making decisions when COVID continues to move forward. If you've watched our dashboard, you know that our numbers are very good. We're seeing a decline in the information of COVID positives. Unfortunately, that COVID positive, we're also seeing a lot of kids miss school. We've had kids had multiple quarantines already. And I'll be honest with you, when the governor threw out the executive order to look to IDOH to maybe modify quarantine to allow kids to come back to school, what their answer was put masks on kids. So even though you look at our data, it didn't provide us an opportunity to stop the quarantining of kids. So one of the things that I'm going to say is that if this motion to approve putting masks on our students for the next couple of weeks and maybe beyond, depending on numbers and data, et cetera, is approved, the good news is we get to bring back kids that were quarantined, and that opportunity for learning loss and really academic engagement continues. And so with that, I'm going to suggest and recommend that we continue to follow the Johnson County Health Department. I will say I do want to encourage everyone to continue to reach out if you've got comments directed to the health department, to the state. This is the journey we're on, and we're all kind of stuck in the middle. And our job is to educate kids. That's what our job is. And we want to make sure that we're providing the very best education possible. Our guiding principle says individual student growth, and we need to do that. I'm looking forward to a day when COVID-19 is not even the conversation, but unfortunately that is not today. And so today I'm recommending that as of Monday, we enter into a time during the school day where our kids will need to wear masks in the buildings. Also, all adults and visitors would need to wear masks in the building. Talk about the benefits of the Mr. Wagner asked, are there benefits? And the benefit would be that you do not need to quarantine if you have masks on for everyone in the building and in the classroom. Obviously, that is a significant point, and that's where we are. And if you go back to September 1st, when the governor issued his order, that's really what he put out there, was that bargain to keep kids in school. And I know people are saying, well, today's 17th. Why didn't you just make a decision on the 1st? I'm sure that's some people thinking about that. just want to remind everybody that when that came out on the 31st, we received information saying, keep the 2%. Here's how you count it, and we're moving forward with mask optional for us. The first 12 hours later, that changed. Also, then we had Labor Day, and then Mrs. Martin and I had several questions regarding quarantine status and what it looked like for our kids and how to count it. We met with Dr. Qualls on that Tuesday after Labor Day. Then I have to post an agenda item 48 hours due to open door, and that was going to get us right up to our Monday meeting. So therefore, we waited till Monday thinking, okay, this is what we're going to have to do. On Monday, we did have it in conversation. There were 6 of us from our school district engaged in a conversation with the health department. And I think every indication was going to be there's possible changes coming. So that's why I did not recommend anything on Monday night. But I also knew that we needed to do something. And unfortunately, that change didn't come until I got notice today of the recommendation. And that recommendation was basically could continue. If I would have known that, we would have continued on Monday and not have this meeting right now. But like I said, the silver lining in this journey right now is that quarantine kids and kids in masks will be able to stay in school with their teachers and learning. And that's a good thing. For COVID positives, it is extremely low for kids with COVID positives. And you'll see in the documentation that I spread, as well as fatigue at the hospital and different things are impacting all of us. So we're all pitching in for this brief period of time. But at the beginning of October, we'll continue to look at that plan and see where we could go. We need to get back to school as we know school. That's what we really need to do.
Board. So I make a motion that we approve this change. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you. This motion passes. We're going to implement this change starting Monday. Thank you.
Solidify a couple things. We will send an email out to all parents and Daily Journal's aware of the press for quarantine Monday coming back. As I said, everybody will need a mask. Thank you.
We can take questions. Yes.
I'm looking to identify myself directly.
Yes, please.
I'm Joe Saylor. My question is that just absolutely phenomenal goes to then be around kids who have nothing more than a piece of either cloth or a piece of paper between them and a kid who you know has been in sense to go when your numbers are, for example, at high school, less than 0.2%. So 0.0019. That we're going to then say that putting this piece of paper in front of their face is we're going to work better than just actually having people that were closely contacted in proximity.
Great question. So as Dr. Clendenin said, that's why we're going to put that window in there that we got to keep looking at our numbers, and we're going to be working with the health department to have them understand our numbers so we can adjust our plan accordingly. Right now, they don't understand our numbers, right? They don't understand the environment that we're in.
Well, but you understand the numbers, right? It's your decision, not the health department.
Well, we got to take guide from the state or from the Indiana Department of Health.
Well, because
right?
Dr. Clendenin said this is a recommendation. You take guidance from them, but this is ultimately, you are the elected body that makes this decision, not
right.
the health department. And so, as a citizen here of Johnson County, this is your decision. You're who we elected to make this decision, not the health department.
I understand. And based on what we feel that's necessary, we just made the decision, and we're going to go to max. Okay.
Would you field another question?
Yeah.
My daughters decided that they wanted to be vaccinated this fall. And they decided that in spite of already having COVID. And they did that precisely so that the school would stop messing with them as far as contact tracing, as far as masks, as far as everything. So I've got 2 girls, both of whom have been tested by the health department and shown to have had COVID. Both of whom are symptomatic. Both of whom went and got the 2 shots. And both of whom spent the past couple of days feeling pretty lousy because of the shots that they got. And now, why is it that means nothing as far as what they have to do now?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't answer that. I don't have an answer for you on that. I don't know if you guys could add to that. It's a great question. I don't have an answer for you.
I think the one thing I would say is this is what's happened a lot of times in our conversations today. People ask us medical questions and we look and say, we don't know. I would ask, people to reach out to the health department, reach out to Dr. Box up in Indianapolis. And I will tell you, we actually sent our data up to Dr. Box and said, look at this, help us understand, but I think that in terms of everything, we're trying to make this situation work for our school district. And I understand there's people going to be frustrated on both sides. If you wanted mask or if you didn't want mask. I'm just telling you, it's just going to be a short time. We're going to continue to review it. And at that time, we'll continue to. I appreciate it. I understand your questions and comments, but I'll refer back. I'll ask the questions for you.
I guess what's frustrating to me is that I'm here before the elected body that's making this decision, and they're telling me that their own numbers don't matter. They're telling me that they're ignoring the very numbers that they're putting out, and that I find that incredibly frustrating.
I don't feel like we're ignoring the numbers. I feel like we're listening to the numbers, but we're also trying to keep as many kids in school as we can. So we know numbers are low, very, very low, but we're having to quarantine many, many more students, and that's keeping them out of school. And I know that that's frustrating because my son's been vaccinated as well, and he's going to have to go back Monday and wear a mask. But we want everyone in school to get the same learning opportunities. And if we have to wear masks for a couple weeks and hope that maybe makes the numbers even lower where we can justify saying, no, we don't need that, then that's great. That's what I mean, that's, as a parent and a school board member, that's kind of how I feel. I don't know if anyone else agrees with me, but
I also don't feel that you say, like you said, it doesn't matter that your children have gotten vaccinated. It does matter. That is what matters. If we can get more and more people vaccinated, it's going to help this whole situation. So don't feel that was for nothing, because it's a step in getting us to maybe the end. So
My daughters both had it. My daughters were both already immune.
well,
They got the vaccine because the school mandated them to, otherwise they had consequences.
The school didn't mandate that.
yeah,
Now, if they didn't want to be contact traced,
right. Then
Right,
they had to
okay.
be
that's not a mandate. That's
that was a recommendation or an option. If you don't want to be contact traced, you can get your vaccine. If you want to be, then don't. So, but it is frustrating. This whole thing is frustrating beyond belief for all of us. It's not an easy thing, and we hate the fact that we have to stand here in front of you all and justify these decisions that some of them are out of our hands, some of them are not, but we're just trying to do what we feel is best to keep everyone safe and in school right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Any other questions?
We have an issue back there.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Ethan Zinubi. The only question I have is why is transportation not on the COVID-19? You guys show all the schools, the percentage, the numbers that are COVID positive, all that stuff. Transportation is not included.
They're included in their transportation. It would be included in their school data. So if it were a Northwood student or a high school student, it would be included in that data.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct? Yep. Transportation is included in the respective school's data. The kid gets traced on a bus and they go to Northwood, they go to Northwood data, correct? Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What about kids that are, so for instance, like my son's he was high school, middle school, elementary kids because of the type of learning. So what about how does that go towards the school?
It would be where he goes to school. So if a high school kid on that same bus is a high school kid, it goes to high school.
But does that matter?
Contact tracing was what on the bus is the same as what we have for everybody else. It's 6 feet now. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point though.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thanks.
Just so we know, how many kids do we have that are quarantined right now?
The question is, how many do we have? It's quarantine right now. We have between 74 and 84 There's a couple questions on some numbers, but that's what we're looking at. Total for the for start of school to today is over 700 kids have been quarantined.
We can afford that now.
Do we have any? I don't know. Are we gonna take any questions from the video audience? Okay.
Any other questions? Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining.